guys, so a little bit of a different video. I really wanted to do this video just as a continuation of the video that I'd done a couple of months back, just telling you guys a bit about what was going on in my personal life in terms of my dad and me. And I knew I wanted to do this video at some point when I moved, particularly into my own place, because obviously we don't speak anymore. Now that is not something that I had planned or I had thought would happen. Just to link back, I will link the video below, and I won't go into too much detail as to what the issue was that we don't speak now, but it was something very, to me, serious, and he had a completely different view, and he had said something and it had certainly made me think of things differently, and it hurt me, and I think before the channel goes on, everybody on YouTube has personal lives anywhere really that when they're online or on social media, and to me, a background for me is that my dad and me, I think over the course of my entire life, have spent maybe 2 weeks together, never more than 2 weeks, and that was like summer holidays when I was little and things, and I always tried to make an effort when he did come back into my life at about age 8 or 9. But this has been his choosing to do this, and I haven't really done this or led this in any particular way, but this has been something he's decided, and that is hurtful. But what I want to come on, because I know I have a lot of followers that maybe are a little bit younger, or even if you're not, if you find that you might be in a position where you feel like maybe your parents aren't really in tune with you, or you feel like you're not being listened to, or maybe they don't speak to you, and that's nothing that you particularly plan to happen. When people have a disagreement or a debate, you know, the normal thing to do is to move on and go, you know what, call the next day, you know what, we have a different of opinion, I'm sorry about that, can we move on? That's not who he is as a person at all. No matter if you're a daughter, an auntie, an uncle, a sister, a brother, that's not the person he is. He's very black and white, tunnel vision is what I call it. So like I even would try and think, you know, of things from different perspectives. So if I don't really particularly, you know, agree with something, I will say, okay, so where are they coming from? But this was something so serious that there's no coming from, you know, but to kind of put things in perspective, for me, my belief, this is my personal belief, is that a parent is always a parent and a child is always a child. And so no matter who grows up, as you grow older, you're still that child. So that parent, when they make the decision, you know, to whatever they do, whether that's cut contact or disagree or ignore, that's their maturity. Now, if it's something serious, like, you know, they've done, you know, horrendously wrong, or, you know, broken the law, anything like that, I do understand that, I get that. But to completely of their own choosing over a difference of opinion, completely draw the line there, is hurtful. And I think for me, before I say anything about my sibling, is that this is nothing to do with them, and I will say them, I don't want to bring them into it, they are their own person. They're a really, really good person. There's this, what I say when I kind of compare us after this is nothing personal to them. This is just how our dad has decided he will be with each of us. So he has certainly invested, and I always just let that go and wanted to build that relationship with my dad. But he has always, from day one, prioritized my sibling for whatever reason, and that's been education, paying for things, anything really, spending time, investing. When my siblings, and I don't want to bring them into it too much, but when they, so we have the same father, so when his mum and my dad split, he even stayed in the house so that my sibling wouldn't feel like he had split parents. So he did a lot for him. And when I was younger, that made me feel a little bit good, because I thought to myself, at least he's not doing this to somebody else. But that then, I guess, made the way he thinks and the way he treats women in particular the norm for maybe somebody growing up around him all the time. And he doesn't treat women very well. I think he sees women as not inferior, but I think he certainly sees them not on the same level as men. I think that's been proven basically about how I'm being treated, how my siblings being treated. There's a huge difference. And I think if my sibling even had a bad day for 2 seconds, he'd be there in a second. You know, he'd be, whoa, what happened here? Like his whole world would stop, you know. And for me, from the very beginning, he left, you know. So, and I let all of that go, guys. I let all of that go. I'm such a forgiving person. If anybody knows me, I will try to keep, I will do anything for you. You know, I will make sure you're okay. I will make sure, is there something I can do? And even if there isn't, I'll just send a message saying I'm here, let me know. And that's just the person I am. I've always been that way. And so for me to know that this has been a personal, almost delete, really is something that hurts you. And what I want to say is that it's made me grow as a different type of person. And what I want to say is, if anyone is experiencing anything like this, even if you're being cut out of friends, that happens. You know, I've had a few friends that has happened to, that they've been cut out of friend circles kind of really unexpectedly. And, you know, you start to go, what, you know, you start to think to yourself, what's wrong? And actually, there is nothing wrong with you. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. That tells you everything about that person you need to know. So that day when we disagreed, the first thing he did was block. Then the next thing he did is delete. Then the next thing he did is completely just ignore that I even existed. And that's what he did from day one. But when he came back when I was 8, I gave him such time, you know, because he was here. Here he is. He's here, you know. And then the second time I saw him, he brought back my brother, who was 5 at the time. So he brought him to Ireland. That was the first time we saw. He was very, very young. And then all of a sudden I had, you know, so a lot of things changed throughout my life. And even though maybe my family didn't agree with him, or my mum didn't agree with him, or anyone in the family, I was still there, you know, I was still there. And that's on me. I should have said I deserve more. That's on me. But I didn't have any type of male kind of I guess example as to say, hang on, Kira, I've been here for you. So say I had a stepdad, I didn't, but maybe that person would have said, you know what, yes, he's your dad, but look what I've done and look what he's not doing. And if somebody had said that, yeah, okay, but I didn't. And I continuously gave him chance after chance after chance. And the little time I've seen over those 2 weeks, over different years, he's been in various relationships, and I've seen, you know, there's no different treatment, you know, and so that's nothing, you know, that's his decision. You know, that's nothing to do with me. But even if he was here right now, he would say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, he wouldn't even open up his mind. And that's what I meant about black and white. There is no other, you know, for him. You know, it's his view. He's right. And he will, to the ends of the earth, say she's wrong. And, you know, so I don't even think he sees me as a daughter. I think he sees himself as a parent to one child. And I think that's not seen that's seen in actions. Like there's a saying, you know, actions speak louder than words, and they absolutely do, and you can see it in his actions. So I just want people to know that if you're in a situation where you're not being listened to, you're feeling hurt by a parent, you're feeling not listened to, ignored, you're wondering why they're around, if they don't like you, anything like that, it is not your fault. If anything you take from this, okay, is that it is not your fault. Life is short. We can't control what we're born into. We really can't. And I have to be grateful for, you know, I had a grandmother and my mum. They absolutely invested so much time in me beyond what I can even say. And yes, there was good and bad days and good and bad years, but they never left. No matter what my mum and I have been through, we have never left each other. We have been there every single day. When my grandmother was alive, every single day. Did everybody get on 100% of the time? Absolutely not. Did we give up on each other? Absolutely not. You know, that is family. And so that is the healthy way to be. And that is what made me realize, because I had that example, that hang on, this is not healthy. If he decides to come back and say, you know what, Kira, maybe I overstepped, maybe I overspoke, I didn't actually mean A, B, or C, there would have been a way through. But to him, that's it. That's it. And that's how he is in his career, and that's probably how he gets what he gets, because, you know, it's just one of those cutthroat in where he is, you know, what he's decided to do. And so that's it. So I didn't want to go on too long, but I did want to say, if you're feeling like you're not being listened to, whether that's a friend, a partner, know that that's toxic, and know that it's important that you find something for yourself. you know, go out and ask for help. You know, if this kind of resonates with you, maybe that a partner's like this, or a sibling or a friend, know that, you know what, if this is an instinct I'm feeling, my instincts aren't wrong. Listen to those instincts, guys, because you do only have the amount of time on earth that you do, and you don't want to spend that time being treated badly or being treated like, you know, you don't exist, because you do exist, and you will find your purpose. Do I know what my end goal is going to be? Absolutely not. Do I know what I want? Yes. Will I get there? I hope so. So, you know, just know, guys, that whatever you're born into, if it's support, that's amazing. You know, if it's something that someone's going to invest in you, that's great, and really go with that. But if it's not that for you, you still have the right, as the other person does who's being supported. You still have that right, and you still should get there. Okay, so that's just my message to take out of all of this, is that, does it hurt? Yes. Do I have bad days where I wish to God I had a dad there to say, you know what, here we are, but I'm here? Yes. Of course I do. I'm not going to lie. Yes, I do. You know, I've worked with children, and I've made children and people that are vulnerable my career for a reason. Is it the best financially paid? Absolutely not. Could I have gone into law or banking? Yes, I could. Did I want to? No. Because I want people to know that I'm there. You know, I've been to baby rooms, I've been to toddler, I've been to preschool, I've been to primary, then I've got into special needs, and I've seen different parenting styles that whole way through. So I've seen parents who are struggling and are one parent families, and I really looked into that. And then I've seen mums and dads turn up at everything, turn up at this, they're there for this. And I thought, wow, that exists, like that actually exists. And that was actually something that sometimes made me a little bit feel sorry for myself for a slight moment. But then I thought, you know, that does exist. When you have kids, that is there for you. You will be that type of person. You will find a person or a dad who is going to be the father of your children, who is going to do that for you, who is going to be there for them, who's not going to let them down, you know? And sons need fathers in certain ways, and daughters need fathers in certain ways, and daughters need fathers in ways that's not going to make them vulnerable, and it's going to be an example of how men treat you. That's what you're going to look at. And when you don't have that, it's so important to just cling to the family that are there for you. And that's what I did. And I had really good friends and really good, you know, family members, mainly my grandmother and my mum, who really just instilled in me, you know, everything they possibly could. So even if you have one family member, even if you have one sister or one brother who gets what you're going through, even if you don't, call somebody, go to your teacher, go to somebody in your job and say, I'm struggling and I really just need advice. And nobody will not listen. I guarantee you guys, there's not one person. And if they don't, this is my channel. Okay? And I mean that. You wouldn't believe the things I've seen and I've heard from my own dad, from people around who've gone through different situations. And if you don't have that person, you see this channel, and I'm here. Okay, that's what I wanted to say, because my life has definitely, I've struggled a lot. I've struggled to get, and that has hurt me, that, you know, I've seen a sibling. And again, I just want to emphasize, when I mention my sibling, this isn't anything to do with him personally. Nothing. He has been born into what he's been born into. I've been born into what I've been. So please, there's nothing, absolutely nothing against him. He's a really nice person, and he is successful, and he is who he wants to be, and that's what should happen. But what I'm saying is, if you don't have that, know that, you know, there's other people that go through the exact same thing, and you just have to find your plan and what your plan is. And that's really what my message was today. My father has decided to prioritize his family and partner and everything else. But what that's shown me is that this is what I should look for in a relationship, and this is what I shouldn't look for. So actually, don't see it as a weakness sometimes, guys. So when you get yourself out of a situation, you've seen what not to do. So use that as a strength. Use that as, you know what, I deserve this from a guy or from a girl. It could happen to guys too. And I deserve I deserve better, and do that for yourself. And is it hard to realize you deserve better as a daughter who doesn't have a father? Absolutely. It is very difficult, guys, to know that my dad will never really want to speak to me again, but I have to stop feeling sorry for myself, and I have to say, maybe there is a reason he's not. You know, maybe that's a reason. Look what you have. You have really good friends. You're really close with your mum. you know, you work hard. Don't look at what you don't have. Try to look at what you do, because we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised anything really, and we all go through life day by day wanting the best for ourselves. So if you're in a position, guys, go to somebody. I'm starting to come out of the other end, but I did go through last year. You know, I was, you know, when it first happened and it was very clear that I was deleted, as we say, on social media, for whatever reason. Yes, of course I cried like crazy, and of course I almost could feel my chest coming out because I couldn't stop crying, and my friends were there, thank God. And, you know, because you can't believe this is happening to you, but there is another side. There is another side to that. If somebody is making you feel that bad about yourself, whether it's a father, a friend, a partner, that is your sign, guys. That is your sign to say, okay, I am feeling horrible, but this is not happening to me again. So I will leave it at that, guys. But this is a very much a mental health video. And this may apply to me in terms of my dad, but it may apply to you in terms of maybe a partner or friends or maybe work environment, anything like that, guys. But just know, take from it that, you know what, look what's happened there. But for me, I know that there is a way, and there is a way, guys. And that's what I wanted to come to you today with, because there is a lot more that kind of goes on in everybody's lives, including mine. And I just want to say that if anything like this, it's just to pass on a message of hope and pass on a message of, if you have somebody that doesn't see life outside of the lines, there's no grey area, there's always black and white, don't try. The biggest thing I can say for this is, and I tried, don't try to change their mind, because you just can't. And they're not like that with you, they are like that with everybody. And that's what you learn over time. You have to think, oh, what's their problem with me? But this is them, and they will never ever stop being that way. You know, if my dad saw this today, he would already have reasons. Oh, Kira's this. She's not telling, you know, this is not who I am. It is. It is. But there's nothing I can do, and I have let that go. So if you're going through something similar, guys, just know that, you know, you're not alone. And that's what I want to come out of this video. I have worked with children who I've seen that are so vulnerable, guys, that I've sometimes seen myself on them when I was little, and I thought, you know what, things can be better. And I tried to instill that in them. You know, when I worked in the after school for 7 years, I saw so much. I saw really good experiences. I saw children that just blossomed. I also saw children from different backgrounds that didn't blossom as quick as others, but that was just due to circumstances around them. Parents tried really hard. Maybe they didn't have what other families had, but they tried and they instilled the love. They still had love, and that's what, you know, you instill in your kids, you know, that you are there for them no matter what, you know, and that doesn't stop when they get older. So that's kind of the positive thought I want to end on this, is that you are enough, and that if you don't have a parent, reach out to somebody, okay? Reach out to somebody who you feel will listen. Call somebody if there's a number you can call in your area. Just know that this is specific to me, but the feeling it gives could be specific to anyone out there who has experienced this with, you know, family, friends. So that's what I wanted to say today, is that, you know, you just work on yourself, and no matter how long that takes, I'm still a work in progress for sure. But I know that there will be better days, and just don't compare yourself to others, and don't try to change somebody who will never change. But they won't just change for you, they won't change for anybody. And that's the big thing to learn, is that it's not me. Don't take it personally, guys. And it's hard. I know it's hard if it's a partner or a parent or anything. It's very, very hard. But if they won't change for you, I guarantee you they are like that in every aspect of their life. And don't take it personally. Just work on yourself and work on your life and what you want. So that's my message today, guys. I know I rarely do mental health videos, but I always will. I had a request just to ask how things were going after that first video, which I will pop down below. Again, I didn't go into too much detail about the content of what happened, and that's just my personal choice, because I think it's not really necessary, and it's also kind of a privacy thing for people too. So yes, so if you take anything out of this, guys, know that other people go through things too, and life isn't perfect. Life isn't about, you know, always about, you know, happy days. Everybody has bad days. But it's just to know also, to people that don't really have anybody out there that may be able to talk to, this is my channel, and you can always come here. And I hope you have a great day.